Welcome to another video. Today we got a Sawara or a Sawara cypress. This I've had in my garden since springtime. I was just trying to think what I did with it. I put it in a bigger pot, I know that, but I'm not sure if I just slip potted it or I just put it into a prettier pot. It doesn't look like it's slip potted. But anyway, that's the aim of the game today. So I've seen a lot of these as bonsais and I think they're fantastic. I've always admired them and they're nice and soft to deal with. So although they look like a juniper, they're nice and soft. Oh, you could take it to bed. So soft. It's lovely. So I'm gonna deal with the roots today. Maybe take a couple of these lower branches off, but the rest of it I'm going to leave, let it grow on for another season or two. It's done really well this year. I think it's helped putting it in this bigger pot. It was only literally 6 inches tall when I first picked it up. I think it was less than a £5 when I bought it. I'm trying to go back through if I took any photos of it when I first got it, but I couldn't find nothing. So it's done really well. It's done really well. I'd say it's doubled in height and in width, and it's put on loads of really good healthy growth. It's done well in this larger pot. I'm going to try and keep it in a larger pot, but the aim of the game is just to sort out the roots. The tree's looking really healthy, and I don't want to give it another growing season in such a deep pot because you can see all these roots. They are pushing out, and if I don't deal with it now, it will get harder and harder in the future. And whether I bonsai it or whether I just keep it as a garden tree, I don't know. I say the bonsais I've seen of these, they look absolutely stunning. They really do. And they're so nice to work with. Oh, they're not itchy or anything. Unlike the junipers. They do play up with my skin. So I think what we're going to do is we'll dig down first. Let's get the old stick. We'll just dig down and see what we're up against. And then we'll take a few of these lower branches off. I put it into actual topsoil because I didn't want to feed it straight away. But this needs to be gotten rid of. It's not going to do it any good for the future, but it's certainly helped up until this stage where you can see the roots. The roots are really taken on. Yeah, it was in a tiny pot. So when did I get it? It was springtime, probably April, May, I suppose. And I've got a feeling it was kind of like last year's stock from the garden centre, hence why it was so cheap. I do find springtime, a lot of garden centres don't sell, well, they do sell stuff like this, but they don't keep a lot in stock. They tend to go for more of the perennials, the flowering, bedding plants. It's a big sale in their industry that time of year, and then they as they sell, it frees up room in all these nurseries because obviously they have thousands of them. They get rid of them, and then what they do is then they get these types of plants in, conifers and more of the evergreens, pines. So yeah, so I got it early part of the year, spring. So I got a feeling it was last year's stock, hence why it was so cheap. But we like that. That's what it's all about. We like it. I got a feeling I did slip pot it because I've got to this area here. I don't know if you can see. I got to this area and he's a bit denser there. So yeah, I was trying to think. I bought so many back in the spring. It's hard to remember. And although I do take photos, I don't take photos of everything for obvious reasons. But yeah, there's some great roots in here. I'm going to try and keep as much as I can. And I say, just reduce the depth of the roots. So the pot I've got in mind was actually a tray. The pot in mind is a lot wider than the pot it came out of, but it's a lot shallower, so we can start training the roots. As I say, this is a standard practice with anything you buy from a nursery. At the right time of year, get it out of the pot and try and get those roots into some kind of order, because the longer you leave it, the harder it gets. Yeah, it's very dense around there, so I think I just, yeah, I slip potted it, but I think it was down to the size of it and the health of it. It wasn't great. It's certainly done well though. There's some amazing roots on here. See, I didn't work on it when I first got it because of that reason. I always make sure that the plant is in good health before you start messing around with it. That is one of the main rules of bonsai. Make sure the plant is healthy, because if it's not healthy, you can't do anything to it. You just stress it even more. It won't have the energy to recover, and it will just go downhill. And even if it survives, you lose a couple of years regaining that strength in the tree. Plus it's harder work. You gotta spend more time on the tree, nursing it. So you're better off leaving it. I say I left this for a whole growing season. So okay, I didn't get it in the state I wanted it to get in the first year I had it, but if I had put it straight into a bonsai pot and pruned the roots and all that, I probably would have lost 2 years. So that's the way I look at it. Wait, stop fighting, living cats. Cats are in here because the dog's in the lounge, taking over all the cat beds. Okay, what I'm going to do, you don't want to watch me do this for the next 45 minutes because it's going to take a while. I'm going to spend my time on this, and also I'm going to rinse the roots to a certain extent, not wash them completely, just rinse them, and then we can get in there and have a good view of what's going on. So what I'll do is I'll stop the video and then we'll put it on a time lapse, because you guys don't want to listen to me for the next 45 minutes, I'm sure of it. Cool, right, enjoy the time lapse and I will see you shortly. Right, roots are washed. It's not looking good. There's it could have been a lot better. Not the worst case scenario with the roots. I'll zoom in on this. You can see this. Basically, you got this massive root mass coming out one side. You see it better from there. There you go. So when it was in that smaller pot, and as I say, I did think it was the stock from the previous year. It was very much root bound in that small pot. And what's happened is the roots have grown down, hit the base of the pot, carried on growing, and this root, when it was in its younger stages, has been pushed up. So you got this natural, like a knee effect. So it's not particularly good. It's not ideal, but fortunately, there's always a silver lining. Fortunately, there is a branch in here which kind of comes out of this little void where this root is coming up. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that branch in there. So I'm not going to prune any of the tree. I'm going to leave that branch in there, let it fatten up, so it'll fill that gap. If I cut this one off, you'll have a big V in there, and it would just, yeah, it won't look right. It won't have a natural flow. So I think regarding the pruning side, all the roots are coming off one side, apart from there is a tap that comes down here, tap root, but he's very weak for some reason. This one's obviously been the dominant one. It's not uncommon, in fact it's quite common really with conifers. They do tend to go a bit crazy with roots, and they do get out of hand, and this is what happens when they get too leggy and long, because they get long but not strong. So they get long and then they push back on themselves, and that's when you get all these weird kinks. I mentioned it in the Lawson's Blue video. You really need to concentrate on them, repot them every year for the first 5 years to eliminate any of this. But it's not a problem. This is what you get. This is what you get for having nursery stock, and this is the reason why we're doing this. So I think basically all I'm going to do, I don't want to take too many roots off, being that it's an evergreen. I'm just going to tidy up the odd one or two that I've already snipped. Let's get some sharper scissors in there. There we go. Just tidy up these roots that may take on again, that are going in the wrong direction. I think the only way forward for this tree now is to just lightly root prune it, because I want to open up this flare that's in there. So we'll just take off, not much, just take the ends. Right, I think that's all we'll take off for the minute. I don't want the tree to suffer too much. I'd rather have an unsightly nabari and root structure at the beginning than to have a dead tree. So I think we're going to just plant it back in. I've snipped off the ones that are obviously going the wrong direction, and then what I'm going to try and hope and encourage is more roots around this flatter area. These stronger ones that are in a good position hopefully carry on. All around here, these wispy bits, hopefully a few of them will strengthen up, and then we'll revisit it next year, I think. Concentrate on this branch. I might wire him down so he gets more sunlight, because we need this one to fatten up if we want to hide this weird knee effect. Yeah, so it's not how I wanted it to go, but hey ho, we'll get there in the end. So I think what we'll do now is I'll get the pot prepped. Well, it's already prepped. I'll bring the pot in and we'll sit it in, and then yeah, I think that's all we can do really. It's a shame because it's a funny old shape that. There's not a lot I can do at the minute, and I say I don't want to take too many roots off. I don't like it. I want it to grow strong. I want this one to fatten up. But I think it will get there one day. Just a bit more effort, that's all. That's all it is. Cool, right. I'll bring in the pot, and then yeah, we'll get it potted up. Okay, so I think I'm going to change my idea on the container. The container I had, I don't think it would have suited it. I found this one. Now, I love this one. It's just terracotta. It was just a pot tray to hold moisture, and I drilled a hole in it. There is a bit of mesh there. It needs cleaning up. I haven't cleaned it up yet, because what I do need to do is put some holes in so I can tie the tree down. At the minute, it's only just got the one drainage hole. So what I'm going to do is just put in 4 holes. I'm going to use a tile bit. I always find that's the best way to drill holes in pots. You can buy all these diamond tips and all this malarkey. Just buy a tile drill bit. They're brilliant and they last. You can do a few holes with them before they give out. So that's what I'm going to do. But I'm going to do this outside, and then I'll clean the pot up, and then we'll start putting the plant in it. See what it looks like. Okay, back in a minute. Right, pot's been drilled. Got 4 decent sized holes, and 1 bit. I was going to put another drainage hole in, but I didn't think I needed it, because I put these extra 4 in. And I say this tray, I've had probably three trees in it since I first got it. It's quite old, I think, this one. Yeah, it's got a stamp there, but it's faded a bit. Yeah, I've always found this tray's been brilliant for bringing on trees. So I've got about 3 or 4 trees in this tray over the years, and it's always done really well. It's always looked after the trees for some reason. I think terracotta, I think it is good stuff. But you do get cheap versions. This is quite an old tray, so it's probably good quality. So it's only cracked and chipped where I've knocked and bashed it. It's got no frost cracks in it or anything. And I just drilled it. So it was actually quite hard to drill, even with a tile bit. And it drilled cleanly as well. I think now you find that with different quality of terracotta. If it drills cleanly, i.e. it doesn't break away or shatter, yeah, you know it's reasonable quality. Old stuff's always a good stuff, as they say. But yeah, no, I've got a lot of time for this little tray. It's brought on a lot of trees in its time. Right, what I've done is I've done almost a half and a half mix with pine bark and a little bit of organic substrate mixed with some Bonsai Pro Mix, because I think we just need to push them roots on a little bit more. We need to hold the moisture in here, because it does need maximum sunlight. These do love the sun, and I don't want the tree drying out, I don't want the roots drying out. It's going to be a lot of exposed areas after it's been potted, because the tree's only little, so the sunlight's going to be hitting large areas of the soil, so it's going to evaporate quickly, it's going to dry out quickly. So lots of pine bark. I haven't done a ratio, I've just gone with what I generally do when I'm potting up something like this. So roots are kind of cleaned up. I haven't taken an awful lot off. I'm not going to pick back or front, there's no point. It's not the exercise of this. The exercise was to look at the roots and kind of do something with them. I have had a play around with them. I haven't really touched a lot, I'll be honest with you. So I think the scenario we're in at the minute is we need more roots growing on that flatter side. As I say, it's the health of the tree that's important. So at this stage, I'm just going to have to accept that it's not got the best root base. We'll just get it healthy. Well, it is healthy, but we'll get it back to a good settlement in a pot. But I do think we're going to have to deal with this annually, every year. I think certainly for the next 3 years, definitely. If we need to sort out these roots, or if we got any intention on where's my cutters? Yeah, we need to really do it yearly, which will be easy, be fine. Oh, hang on, I've just got to let the dog in. Come on, you. You've been chasing them cats. Oh no, my hand's all slippery. This was all covered in green algae. It was sat at the back. It's the only thing with terracotta. It does take on a lot of green algae. Get one in there. What I'm doing is I'm threading the wire under these roots. I've used quite a thin wire. My hands are all slippery. Slippery hands. Just wind that up. Don't let it too tight. Okay, that's good. That's good. Right, I'll go and get some more soil, and then we'll start packing it all in, get rid of all them gaps, fill all the roots, and yeah, I think he's ready to be left to his own devices. Okay, right, I just recycled some soil, so it's a bit wet, which is not ideal. When you repot, it's always better to have drier soil, and it works between the roots better. But we'll rinse it through afterwards anyway. I always find it's sometimes better to do that anyway. So just getting the old chopstick out and giving it loads, because no matter what anybody says, you do damage the roots by doing that. So yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll bank it up and I'll whip it outside and just run the hose through it. I've put a little bit of pine bark with this, just a little bit, not as much as the bottom. This is more of a looser substrate because I want it to work down through the roots. If you put in loads of pine bark can it stops the substrate from going between the roots. I'm just evenly do it. I'll do this, and then what I'll do is I'll get a top dress in and just put it on. Right, we're all good. We're getting there. So I've had a quick look at the position of the tree. Now I'm not happy, even though I've washed the soil into the roots. It's filled the roots on the first stage. What I might do is just zoom in on you. Excuse the camera work. So what I've done is I've rinsed it all through to fill all the gaps. Obviously we got these top roots that are showing, which we'll cover in a minute with some top dressing. But the issue I've got, because there was no tap root and no real substantial roots to hold this tree, even though it's wired, he is a bit loose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to secure it up here. I'm just going to bring a wire down there and then the other side, just to stop this moving around, and just to bring the tree more upright. It didn't matter what I did with the soil under the roots, it just wouldn't set. The roots are too fine at the minute. So he's only a little tree, he's only a babby. So yeah, we just need to give it a little bit of support. So that's our next stage. So this can come off hopefully in the summer. So we just thread it through, put one coil in it. That's better. Right. So as I say, I haven't really gone to town on it. All I've done is just, if you can see in there, I've just loosely coiled it around the trunk and then come off 4 points, 4 sides of the pot. It's giving it a lot more stability, as you can see, because it is becoming winter, and I know we're famous in the southwest for getting strong winds around October time. So there we go, he's in there. Cat's in the way. Right, Nukes. Yeah, it was unfortunate about the roots, but it's nursery stock. This is the whole reason why we're doing it, and I think if I left it another year, it'd been even worse. That root would have definitely got worse, got more established. I'm not necessarily going to keep it, hence why I've kind of lifted it out the soil a little bit to encourage the roots underneath. We could always get rid of these stronger ones once the ones below get stronger, which they will do now. There's more freedom, there's more oxygen getting in there. Yeah, it's just in a better substrate to work with next time. None of this blimmin' old soil, right old mess it makes. I think I've spent more time cleaning up than I have actually doing anything to the tree. This branch, either way, is sacrificial, whether we keep this root or not. We'll let it grow and we'll fatten out, and then if we do decide to keep this root, we can just snip it off. It will fill that void and then it will heal over naturally, so we'll have a nice curve there anyway. But Realistically, I want to get rid of this main root. I want the roots below to get stronger, get rid of this. Yeah, I think it's just going to be hard work in the future. But I'm chuffed because I got a new tree, and it's going to be good to revisit, especially now because you guys have seen the root work, although it wasn't ideal, and it's not going to be done overnight. But we can revisit each stage, and then we can see the development of it. It's good fun. It's good practice as well. It is good practice. So I'm really looking forward to working on this tree, which I'm not going to be able to for, well, I reckon the beginning of the summer, really, because those roots aren't going to do anything for a few months. The tree's going into dormancy. Just let it settle down, let it do its thing. I'll feed it. I'll certainly feed it, but I'll select which areas of the pot that I feed to encourage the roots to grow in that direction, because the roots will suss out where the nutrients are, and yeah, hopefully follow the path that I intend the roots to go on. But who's to know? But the main thing is the tree's looking healthy, the roots are healthy, they're just unfortunately in the wrong place. But as I say, time, we can sort that. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to working on this tree. It's going to be a fantastic bonsai, and so I've always wanted one. So yeah, thank you very much guys for watching, and see you on the next one. Take care.